But first, though, just after lunchtime, as was expected, the Prime Minister and Foreign Minister made the symbolic announcement that Australia would officially announce at the UN General Assembly in New York next month that we as a country will recognise a Palestinian state. I say symbolic because in a practical sense, in a real time and real day sense, what difference will this make to the everyday lives of a Palestinian family in Gaza? Will they suddenly be safe and well and fed? Of course not. Will it mean Hamas will hear of Australia's actions today and release the dead and alive Israeli hostages? No. Will Benjamin Netanyahu change his military tactics? Not if you watch what he said about us as a country overnight.
To have European countries and Australia march into that, rabbit hole, just like that, fall right into it, and buy this canard is disappointing, and I think it's actually shameful. But it's not going to change our position. Those who say that Israel has a right to defend itself are also saying, but don't exercise that right. They know what they would do if right next to Melbourne or right next to Sydney you had this horrific attacks. I think you would do it, at least what we're doing.
Netanyahu makes a good point about how a state in Australia would have reacted if attacked like Israel was on October 7 back in 2023. Let's be very clear here. The two hard-left politicians you saw standing at lecterns in the PM's courtyard today, Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong, have been lifetime believers of a Palestinian state. It's in their DNA. I'm surprised it took so long. I mean, I guess the federal election in May got in the way. You wouldn't, I think, have wanted to go and campaign during an election campaign and say, I'm getting a little sick and tired of hearing this Palestinian idea is what most Australians want. It's not. And if you had a poll in Australia on that, I don't believe that that's what you would find. Some Jewish Australians might take issue with this, by the way.
The international community's vision for a just and lasting peace in the Middle East always encompassed two states, living side by side with internationally recognised borders.
The Jewish community is in uproar, as they should be. The Prime Minister tried to explain what his recognition move has asked of the Palestinian Liberation Authority, the PLO. Here he is.
Our government has made it clear that there can be no role for the terrorists of Hamas in any future Palestinian state. This is one of the commitments Australia has sought and received from President Abbas and the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority has reaffirmed it recognises Israel's right to exist in peace and security.
Well, what does he think is going to happen? Does he think Hamas is just going to simply disappear, lay down their weapons, walk away, give the hostages back, say, sorry, we didn't mean to do that? And where are they going to go? I mean, this Palestinian state is going to have people who were and are in Hamas. Foreign Minister Penny Wong, though, what does she do? Well, she continues to be critical of Israel.
In relation to ceasefire on the ground, I would make the point that the Israeli Security Cabinet's decision to launch a large-scale offensive into Gaza is counter to the prospect of a ceasefire.
Well, I guess we all knew this was coming, and I expect that those images of people marching over the Harbour Bridge on the weekend before last was a symbolic prod that pushed the federal cabinet that met this morning to endorse this announcement today. It leaves huge questions around our historical alliance with the US and Israel. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has made it clear he thinks it's the wrong way to go. He overnight blamed the French announcement on recognition for Palestine for torpedoing peace talks with Hamas. Donald Trump won't like it, and that Trump-Albanese meeting is probably even further away now than ever. And as respected commentators like Greg Sheridan point out from The Australian, they point out Hamas sees these recognitions moved by now us and the French and the English and the Canadians as a victory for them. Our place in the world changed today. We'll see where that leaves us.